Good evening. It's Monday, which means it's time for Enterprise at 8. This is Live Long and Podcast Star Trek Enterprise Rewatch series. It's been about 20 years.
Oh,
20 years?
You know what? I'm just going to take that out of the damn script.
it's
right?
just not the same without the oh.
Yeah. Well, in a way, yeah, I guess it does add it.
I like it.
Since tonight's episode, The Crossing, first aired, but we're just getting started here at Enterprise at 8. I'm Jody Simpson, and along with me is the man who wonders where Porthos is, Adam Woodward.
I do wonder where Porthos is. What happened to Porthos?
I don't know. Maybe he got taken over by one of those like alien things.
How many episodes has it been? 3?
I haven't seen him in a while.
It's been a while.
He's the Jake Sisko of this crew.
Oh, is he? Okay. I like him more. But anyway, that's a whole other story. And of course, Adam and I are joined by some awesome panelists. Tonight, joining us is Live Long and Podcast awesome producer and the man who believes if we are to engage in mating, it would be easier to be disrobed.
That's what I was gonna say.
Dave Mater.
You took my line. I was like Jody. If we were to engage in mating, it's easier if we disrobe. But
Well, maybe we should have compared notes before
we
started.
should have. But yeah, that was exactly where great minds think alike.
Oh, well, there you go, for sure. And thank you for hosting last week. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It seems like a long time ago now.
It was forever ago.
Lots of shows of pastime. Bye.
Indeed. Well, he does like 300 other podcasts, so that might be why. Anyway, and of course, who could forget the man who believes humans don't like doing things without their consent, like listening to Captain Archer walk and talk? Kevin Millard.
Hello. Yes,
Hi.
Captain Archer. He's not too bad in this one. Not too bad.
Really? I found him over the top.
His dialogue wasn't great, I thought, but anyway, that is what it is. Oh, Dave's leaving. All right, he's like, I'm appalled. I think nothing of high praise for Captain Archer in his dialogue in this episode, but Dave was upset about that. Anyway, this is the 483rd episode of the series. We're almost at the halfway point. There's only 97 episodes.
We're halfway down the series. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Almost halfway through.
Well, when the season's over, right? Like this will be the halfway point.
Well, actually, based on episodes, this next episode is technically the halfway point.
Oh, okay. So like
there's only 97 episodes, but there's
they
a
must have
couple
done
like two-parters,
shorter
right?
seasons after this.
I think it was just a bunch of two-parters.
How many episodes in this season do we have to go here? 5 more? 7 more?
Left in this season, we got.
I remember
8 after this.
There you go.
Man, seasons were long in those days.
They were, eh? Now we're like 10 episodes. Jeez,
Wow.
you expect me to watch 10 episodes?
11 episodes in a season. Are you out of your mind?
Oh, by the way, I started Lower Deck season 3. You're right. I can only do about 5 episodes before I have to stop.
Yeah.
It's true. Anyway, this is an episode that is about, well, it's called The Crossing, by the way, if I didn't already mention that. And this is about the Enterprise is captured by a ship of non-corporeal. Is that how you say it?
Corporeal.
Okay, well, all you are better than me. Being who wishes to trade consciousness with the crew's bodies, but these wisps may not plan on giving the bodies back.
Classic.
I think I've seen this before. In Star Trek, even. I'm almost positive I've seen this before.
Every series.
Well,
Every
Next Gen had
single
that episode where they found the people on the surface and they took over and then tried to take over Enterprise. Like, what was it? O'Brien, Riker. Oh, no, Riker didn't because he had a broken
I like
arm.
that episode, though. That was
It was a good episode, yeah.
Sam just wants to point this out that this is actually 19 years ago, this episode. Not
Well,
20.
that would be why I used the term around 20
Yeah.
years ago.
I don't have a 19
And you
year.
know what, Sam? I'm
soundbite.
not going to put up with your
Sam,
crap
don't push up.
today.
Yeah.
I'm
Don't
not
push
putting
it,
up with
buddy.
it.
Where's Gavin? What are we,
Ah,
chopped liver?
You know what? Dad's probably drinking somewhere. That's probably where Dad is.
He's probably good. He's probably late for something somewhere.
Or he's
um,
late. Yes. yes.
Yeah, and then
Another very possibility.
well, and what was his? Dave, is that a new? I don't say comforter. I'm maritime. I say puff.
Comforter. What are we talking about here, Dave?
What?
Hudson
It's
Bay
a-
thing? No, it's always been on his bed.
Oh, that's always been there.
That's always
Yeah.
been there, by the way. But yes.
Yep.
And where's my intro? We
You don't have an intro.
don't have an intro.
And the way you're going, you're never going to get one. Anyway,
Oh boy.
You'll get your
Damn.
intro when you start your Gilligan's Island podcast.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We're only 2 weeks
how
into
is that
Survivor.
bet going, by the way? We
Well,
need
the
to
guy's
check
still
in
in the
on bet.
game, so it's not going great.
Not
but
going great for you,
I-
or for
So
Sam?
far, there have been 2 people voted off the island, and it's not his guy. So it's not.
So his guy has to win, right?
Has
His
to
guy
win.
has to win the whole thing. Okay. So
Yeah. There's
All right.
18 of them. 16.
I'm on Team Sam for this, just because I want to see you go through a Gilligan's
I
Island
know.
podcast.
Well, he's Sam's been on us constantly about it. He's following it very closely.
Yes, very much. Yes, it's very important. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to Star Trek because that's really what this channel is about.
Let's talk this episode.
Yes. How did
well-
we feel about this episode, guys?
I thought this cold open was fun, interesting. You know, just like what's happening. There's a ship approaching Enterprise. They don't know what it is. They can't. They're like, there doesn't even seem to be a transceiver that they can even hail them on.
Mhm.
And we see this big, scary looking ship kind of come up behind them. And T'Pol says, it ain't not in the Vulcan database.
That's trouble right there. You know.
Yeah, the
Like,
Vulcans
you-
don't know what it is. Yeah, you're in trouble.
It
And
reminded me of the scene in Spaceballs where they suck in the Winnebago into the other ship. Kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me even of like there was that movie a few years ago. It was called Mortal Engines or something, where like bigger cities become like these big tank things. I don't know
Oh
if you ever saw that.
yeah. I saw
Yeah,
that movie.
and it was almost like a bigger ship ate the smaller ship in the same.
Can't say
main-
I've seen that. I have. No
It's
idea what you're talking
forgettable.
about.
It's forgettable. Don't worry.
It's not a great movie, but it just kind
Oh.
of reminded me a little bit of that of the gimmick of that movie, which was sort of like bigger things eating smaller things like machines. And yeah, we just
wasn't that sort of like the cornucopia in the original series as well? That remember that? What was that? Can't remember what the name of the episode was.
the Doomsday
Where-
Machine.
It was the Commodore had the other Constitution class.
The Doomsday Machine.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and they're going against the Planet Eater and things like that. It's so like similar in a sense, yeah. And just like when this thing's coming up and Reed's like, "Oh my," you know, he's just like, "Oh my lord."
Oh my!
And just like this, like the ship getting like start of the episode.
Yeah, like
That's-
the first thing I thought, Adam, was the Doomsday, or the Dyson Sphere.
Dyson
like
Sphere.
They put
Ah,
like
Dyson
two
Sphere, that
Star
would be
Trek
amazing.
tropes together, and it works great.
I think this episode, other than Archer's dialogue, I think is a fairly solid episode. This is campy Star Trek, but it's still fun. Like I liked it.
I liked it.
Except some of the scenes ran a little too long. Like which one was it? Oh, the Hoshi one. The Hoshi one was a little long.
Yeah, we'll run through it.
But they had a fight. So
Yeah, they're inside this big ship when we come out of the credits, and everything's down except life support, basically.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the result here. And the lights, I guess.
And captains get very upset when they lose everything, all control.
Yeah. This is no good for Archer or any captain.
rightfully so, though. You're responsible for
Yes.
what 85 other lives. So yeah,
Yeah,
I could see
he
that
doesn't like
being an
this.
issue.
He's not. I do like the dynamic between T'Pol and Archer in this episode, where like T'Pol's like, be open minded, and he's like, I don't know, I don't trust them, and he ends up being right. So it's kind of
Which is interesting because usually it's the other way around, right? Like usually it's T'Pol going, "Yeah, we probably should be more cautious," and
yeah, and normally
they
it's
almost
the other
took
way.
different roles, like
And
they
then-
took each other's role.
And then later on, T'Pol is like, just leave that 1/3 of the crew behind. It's fine.
What?
We'll
Yeah,
get
I
away
love
with
that.
2/3.
Yeah,
I
and
love
he's like,
that.
yeah, that's not acceptable.
I love that though. That's something like season
It's
one.
very
T'Pol
Vulcan.
wouldn't have said that,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but season 2, T'Pol's like, "I'm a badass and I don't care."
Do you
And
like
make
that?
sure you put Mayweather in there too, just to be
Well,
safe.
speaking of Mayweather, they put him on like camera adjustment duty here, where they got him like moving like the camera around.
Dorsal
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah, can you move it? Since we have no power and you can't actually fly the ship in any meaningful way right now, how about you just move the camera?
You're now a videographer.
Yeah,
Mayweather got a lot of attention in this episode, though.
You did.
fair bit more than usual.
Yeah.
And they see like the little light things, like what we find out are the wisps, not cheese wisps, but just wisps. And yeah, they're like
That
they
joke
can't.
didn't land nearly as good as you thought it would. Dave.
I think it's funny.
Also, you don't know what they were made of.
That's true. They could have been cheese whips.
Well, that's just when I think of the word wisp now.
I stand corrected, Dave. Excuse me.
And they can't. Their sensors can't even detect them being like any kind of element or energy that they've ever seen before.
Yeah.
So Archer's like, okay, come on, Trip, we're going on a mission. So he takes Trip and Reed with him. He's like, you're in charge to Paul. And we see the shuttle pod coming down here, which was kind of cool to see like the Enterprise like, you guys are my wisps.
Damn it.
I am 90% cheese.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go with that one, Kevin. So I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna touch it.
But they
More
just
ways
say
than
like,
one.
they can't like they're detecting no life forms, and he's like, down. These things look alive to them, the way they're acting, right?
Wow.
I
And they
still love
also
their
gave them an
environment.
environment. They gave them air.
Yeah. There's like now there's air in here because initially it's just a helium atmosphere, and now it's like an air atmosphere. But they
It's
don't
like-
take off their helmets, which I thought was smart.
Yeah, one of them was like, "Oh, they know what we like to breathe," or something like that.
They know we need to breathe. How was the CGI for you guys when they did
I was
like,
okay with it.
It was good. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
bad. Yeah,
For
they didn't-
20-year-old CGI, I think it
Nobody was
pretty decent.
walking. I like when they
a
don't.
little bit,
make
but
them
it
walk.
wasn't too much. It was used sparingly. And like I thought they did a decent job going between the close-ups and the wides.
Well, I think that'll come up in fun facts, maybe.
Yeah. Looking up here at the like little cheese wisps, and then just this whole thing where they get like possessed, right? Like there's kind of like this whole effect to it. Like Trip was getting ready to shoot it, and then we see it like you sneeze out your
Katra.
yourself. Yeah, I chew. And so Tucker's inside of this thing, and I guess he went to Florida or something.
Tarpon Springs,
Yeah.
not
Anyway, so
Tarpon
like-
Beach, not Tarpon Beach.
So we see this alien who's now taking over Trip's body. And I don't know, he's just kind of chill. But then very quickly, this exchange goes back, and we and he sneezes out the non-corporeal, and they're like, "Whoa, that was weird." Trip talks about all the places he was at, hanging out with his girlfriend or whatever. But they're like, "We better go back to the ship." And then they put him through decon, and they can't figure out anything wrong with him here, But Trip says,
Don't forget Florida, Captain.
"Don't forget Florida."
So they had time to get Trip out of his environmental suit, but the other two didn't have time for that. Apparently.
No. Apparently,
Well, let's face it. He was the one that was attacked. Who are they going to deal with? It'd be him.
Well, yeah, but still, like the amount of time it takes to do that, like, why were they sitting in their fucking biosuits? And on top of that, if you're worried about a biological agent, why would you have the two suits that were accompanying this guy out
Yeah.
beyond the?
in theory, all three of them should be in
They
there.
should all be in there. Yeah.
Phlox just didn't want to watch the three of them rub gel on each other. They just
Yeah, he's like, this is not a.
Oh, I don't know. I
sexy
bet he
scene
does
angle.
it with that really ridiculous smile, like the
Yeah.
smile.
But don't worry, they all change back together, Jody.
Well,
and
that's teamwork.
I like how Archer here is like, I'd like to keep you in sick bay.
I'd prefer to keep you in sickbay for a few days, but I can't afford to.
Yeah, so get back to work.
Because
Get
we
those
know he
engines-
has no staff. Like he works by himself all the time alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This change room here, or whatever you want to call it, looks a lot like the original Battlestar Galactica change rooms.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is before that. Or you mean like original, like 1970s, like
Yeah,
Battlestar,
1978. Yeah.
which I've never really watched.
Well, I mean, especially the way they put the helmets on the shelves. They did that back then too.
Oh yeah. They got the little cubbies for the helmets. Anyway, so I don't know, he tells Reed, get the weapons back online, and then he's like, let's do your job.
They have those hotel hangers though, the ones that don't come off the pole.
Oh yeah.
God, those are irritating.
Yes, they are.
And then you got Archer just staring into this inside of the ship. T'Pol comes to see
Can't
him.
have an episode without him staring out a window.
Yeah, and him just
That's again classic Trek. Every
Classic Trek.
captain.
Yep.
him and T'Pol. Yeah, but this seems to be like an Enterprise thing where he's looking out the window and T'Pol comes in. and tells him he's wrong about something.
Do you not remember Picard staring out the window
All the time.
All the time.
All the
Yes.
time. Every time somebody was coming into his ready room, he was usually standing by his window looking out.
Yeah.
The only reason Kirk didn't do it is because there was no windows.
Well,
Yeah,
there was no
it would have
real-
cost too much.
We never saw a ready room on the original series, but
That's true.
like,
Yeah.
and then well,
Because Kirk
yeah.
was always ready.
Cisco didn't have one on the Defiant that you ever saw either.
That's
so-
right. Kevin, he was always ready. What do I need a ready room for? I'm ready all the time.
I'm always
I'm always ready.
I'm always
I don't
ready.
need a room. Don't make me a room.
Yeah. Janeway didn't. She stared out her
He
window.
didn't
a
do
little
it
bit.
much.
No, it didn't do as much as Archer does. Anyway, so then basically he's just saying I don't fully trust these aliens, but and DePaul says I need to be open minded, but something's
Which
not
in the
right.
rare case where Archer is actually correct here.
Yeah. He's being suspicious and being untrusting is actually the right thing.
Well, maybe
but-
he's learning something.
Yeah, maybe.
maybe.
Yeah, no kidding.
And she's learning the wrong way.
The Wisp
He's like,
comes to see
These guys aren't in our database, so we might as well trust them.
Exactly. Don't recognize a ship. Frank. Oh, there he goes again.
Wow, you really went for all the weird facial expressions you could on those screenshots, eh?
Hey, he made the face. I didn't make him. And then there's this guy, crewman, whatever, engineer, who's like talking to the now possessed Trip. And he's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "I'm good. How are you, sir?"
He's been in episodes before, though, I think.
What's his name? Rostuff or something like that?
Yeah. I think he's been in a couple episodes previously.
Yeah, I've seen him before.
Yeah. I think he's just like, "Bye," and then he just gets into this thing. And
Like, what's the
walks.
little door? What's the little
Gotta
dwarf
go.
door?
It says no entry on it too, and like 2 people used it in the same scene.
Where does it go?
I don't know.
We don't
Apparently,
know.
directly to the mess hall.
Yeah. Apparently.
It's such
Maybe
a
the mess
little
hall's
door.
on the other side of the wall there.
And engineers get hungry.
I
Yeah.
don't think so. But yeah. Anyway, so this guy calls up and he's like, "You better check on him." And Archer's like, "Find Trip using sensors," and they're
There's something
seemingly
wrong with Commander Trip. Yeah.
able to do that. He's just having Thanksgiving over here, in the
I
mess
never
hall.
noticed that before. That shot was pretty neat. Go back.
This one.
I never noticed that the ceiling was tilted because this is actually this is
Oh, yeah,
on
there's-
the
yeah,
top part
yeah,
of the
there's a
saucer,
bit-
yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of a
Yeah, I
curve
never
to the
noticed that
saucer section, right? So
Yeah, I never noticed that before.
That's in,
Oh, yeah, it's
the
crewman
detail.
Michael Rostuff.
roast stuff. There you go.
Yeah, he's been in episodes before.
Yeah.
For sure.
He likes pudding. This alien.
Trip's like, it ain't no pecan pie.
He likes
Is there
everything.
any catfish on that?
There's
tip?
no, I don't see any catfish on. him.
That thing up the front there could be catfish.
Could
though.
be. Could be fried
it
chicken, could be
breaded
I think it's
fried
fried chicken.
catfish.
You got a nice big chili.
Oh,
dog with
actually,
cheese
yeah,
on
you
it.
can see there's like a chew piece there.
he's got a big old chili dog with like a hot pepper on the side, and
Spaghetti
I don't know,
meatballs with broccoli.
you don't have broccoli on the side of spaghetti and meatballs. That's unusual?
Yeah.
Anyway, Trip's like, "Have you ever tried bread? It's awesome."
All that stuff there, and he's like,
He goes
White
for
bread.
bread.
Yeah,
That stuff's amazing.
this is the best thing you got. You know?
Best thing since
And
sliced bread.
Paul's
day.
like, no.
No,
It's in your
touching
hand.
food with your hands.
Ew.
She's just grossed out because he's touching it all.
Well, and
with
if you
his
noticed,
hand.
almost everything there is hand food, right? Like it's food that you can
Most
use
of
with
it.
your hands.
All of it.
Except for the spaghetti.
And the salad, I guess. But
Yeah, I guess. So.
yeah, and the pudding. But yeah, like there's this conversation here where he's like, they're like, "Where's Trip?" And where's the man who used to be Trip?
He's exploring another realm. My realm. But he'll be back.
He'll be back. Don't worry about it.
I did
so-
like how he acted, like the monotone part that he had to do.
Very calm.
But I thought it was kind of neat how he did it. Yeah.
I did like the misdirect here. I feel like you're when on the first scene of this, and I had never seen this episode before. It was like I was kind of taking these aliens sort of at face value. I wasn't suspicious of them necessarily.
Yeah, I was defaulting to Archer as wrong.
Yeah.
I was defaulting to Archer's wrong. That's a pretty safe bet.
You know what though? Because it was so Star Trek to do that thing, to go that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been exactly what Picard would have done.
Right. And yeah, they're just like they're super suspicious, and they mostly don't like that they're being like your ship's controlled. They don't have their systems. Their people are being taken over, or at least Trip at this point. You know, and they're like, you know, if you want us to be friends, then you need to kind of play by like a different set of rules, you know, and work with us here. Give us back control. And that's pretty much what they do. They immediately like sort of jettison the ship right out because I think the aliens, even though they do have sort of nefarious intentions, they realize they need to play ball with these people a bit, at least at the beginning.
But
So
did they? If they were a little faster at getting everybody,
right? Well,
we
I
would've
guess
had
yeah,
everybody.
it seems like they could have just overwhelmed them all at once, like, and just taken them all over once, but they don't do that for whatever reason. They don't, no reason that's explained.
Well, I think they're trying to assimilate slowly so they can understand all the things to kind of hide themselves a little bit better.
Right. We find out later that the Denoblians are immune to this, I guess.
Yeah, he said he saw something and then it like left him immediately.
Yeah, so not everybody's as susceptible. So, but considering that most of this crew is human and they know this works on humans, it was odd that they didn't.
Well,
take out
there's
more.
really only 2 aliens on this ship, right? Which is
Right,
Yeah.
and one of T'Pol was kind of resistant, as we found out.
Yeah,
but not necessarily immune. Anyway, so he trips back, and he thought it was great, guys.
Got to go to Tarpon Springs again.
Yeah, to Tarpon Springs. He's hanging out with those girls. It was like kind of like going to like the Nexus for them.
Yeah, he
You
saw
know?
Lisa
Yeah.
again.
It wasn't a bad time necessarily when you were out of in non-corporeal form, but
I don't know if I want to ask the question on that one, Jody.
I got something you should do. What is it? What could that be?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Right. So they're now outside of this big monster-looking ship, which is
I like the design of that ship, though.
It's
pretty
cool. It's cool looking.
Yeah.
Really big, for sure. For a ship that has no people on it, or corporeal people. Anyway.
Yeah, but they did say they can't survive outside of it either. They said that.
Yeah, because they couldn't just be in space. They had to be at least in a helium atmosphere, right?
Right.
In the non-corporeal form.
I think so. Yeah.
You should try out for Big Brother.
That's a hard no.
I would love if you were on Big Brother, Jody. That'd be the best season ever.
You know what, Dave? The only time I'd ever watch it would be if you were on it.
Okay. Well, hopefully
So,
one day.
Maybe. I think you should, Dave.
Yeah, I know this is the scene where Phlox is like, "Yeah, they tried to take me over," and I was like, "Nope." And, so.
But I like how Phlox reacted to this though, because he kind of reacted like almost like he was victimized a bit. Like he had this kind of uneasiness to it when he was talking about
almost
it.
a trauma.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and then the next scene, Reed heads up into his I guess what is this, like the armory or the cargo bay? He's
I don't know.
I don't know what room this is, but he's adjusting something, and then like he sees the wisp in the reflection.
I do like the little things on the side though. Very Yahura.
Yeah, like I'm trying to figure out what the heck it is or it's supposed to be.
Know.
Anyway, so the wisp's coming at him. Reed's doing like he's going down the rails. He's going through
And
things.
why is everybody running away from this thing if it's going through walls?
Okay.
Like it's not going to stop.
It's a great point, but why are you shooting something that you?
Yeah,
can
he
put-
shoots at it. It doesn't do anything.
Like Reed is now like honestly, he is surpassing my hatred
dumbest.
for Archer.
He's just the dumbest person.
Yeah, he's running away. This thing's chasing him, and I love how he he just stops. His feet just stop, and then he's now I guess possessed.
Yeah, and the whole creepy thing with him.
Yeah, he got the really creepy guy.
It's creepy. Like it's.
He plays it well. He plays the creep well.
He does. He did almost too well.
And here I thought he followed the same woman, but he didn't.
No,
So
It was a different woman in the turbo lift, right?
Yeah.
So this is where I'm officially done with him. Like maybe this was okay 20 years ago, or sorry, Sam, 19 years ago. But man, it seems very inappropriate today. This whole 5 minutes of
Yeah, because he looks at that woman, then he goes in the turbo lift here with this other crewman.
like I'd be like, you're not coming in this damn elevator. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
you gotta, but he was in the elevator before he really started doing anything.
yeah, but he's creepy to begin with, and now he's like, look at him.
Now he's
Well,
possessed. Creepy.
I think almost every woman on this ship prior to this experience probably doesn't want to be in a turbo lift with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's just got this kind of to him, you know.
It's because he smells like pineapple.
Mhm.
Pineapple cake.
Yeah, and then like she's just kind of trying to like. get through
However,
this ride.
sorry, one thing I forgot to mention, which I did think about, and you guys probably thought about too, is when he turned around and looked at the blonde girl as she was walking by. All I could think of was the audio clip of "She's got a nice bum."
That bum.
But they done it so he's like always looking chest level as well. Like
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
always looking at their boobs or their ass or their bum. And and she's just
I
like,
like how she gets pissed off at the end of the conversation.
she's just like,
though.
She's just like, you can piss off,
I like how
and
she
it-
said, "Sir,"
sir.
right when she left. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like, who needs? I know.
She's got an awfully nice bum.
I wonder if she reported that, or if she was just like, fucking read.
It's just
again,
weed.
again.
Another read alert. Yeah, and then he showed. This was the creepiest scene for sure.
Oh, so yeah.
Sam says he feels that they do not tackle much sexual harassment in the workplace in Star Trek. I would agree with you.
No. I think they do now.
They do now, but they didn't. Well, the original series definitely not.
No.
Next gen.
That was half the show.
Yeah,
Half
half
the
the show is
show is
sexual
like-
harassment with the
Captain Kirk's like, I'm the captain. You want to bang?
Deep Space Nine didn't really have much in the ways of sexual harassment.
Yo,
Except for the-
Rand.
Well,
Well,
Cisco
that's true. Yeah.
and Cisco did have sex with mirror universe counterparts of people he worked with.
And
Oh,
Bashir
that's
the
true.
whole first season.
Oh,
Bashir.
good point. Good point. Yeah,
And
actually,
Quark.
this guy's like
And
Bashir.
Quark.
Yeah.
Basically Bashir. Yeah.
Quark was leaning into it. So it's all of
Voyager?
it.
Did Voyager have it?
Not really.
Well,
Just
Harry,
Delaney
Kim,
sister.
and random people.
Yeah, but like in terms of like,
Well,
I guess
he
we're
was
talking
sort of
about like
innocent, though. I mean,
somebody who's like a superior officer or like a junior officer. I
Yeah.
can't remember any examples of that in Voyager.
I did.
So-
I did like T'Pol's reaction through all this part though. Like how she actually acted this scene was really well done. I thought.
Right. Well, she's mostly just trying to get away from him or know he's.
But I
kind
like
of-
how she's got the fear without showing the fear. But you can tell she's got fear, but she's not showing it because obviously the suppression.
you know, but the whole thing is she could kick his butt anyway. I mean,
Oh yeah, well, and that's basically what she said, right? She said something along the lines of like, "I can use force" or something like that.
Right.
That she's capable of defending herself.
Yes, there you go. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. He just wants to disrobe.
If we are to engage in mating, it would be easier if you disrobed.
He knows. He knows. Anyway, and then he's just being.
This also reminds me of, remember the episode where it's like Hanar and those guys.
By any other name.
Yeah,
by
yeah,
any
yeah.
other name, yeah.
And they're like obsessed with all the food and the drink and the
Right. Yeah.
And that's what these aliens are like.
Yeah, more or less, basically. Yeah, it's kind of like there's been a lot of next gen episodes with a similar kind of thing of people, but also original series I think did this a ton with like the
Oh yeah.
love me.
You know, it's funny with all the stuff going on in the world now and everybody getting like extra tweaked over everything. I'm surprised that nobody has like banned the original series yet. Like it's like nobody's
Banned
been
it?
like straight. Oh yeah, because everybody bans everything now, right? Like it's just like, oh, they said this, so now they're banned, or whatever they call it. But
canceled.
canceled. that's it.
Some people call it
Cancel culture.
consequences.
Consequences, so.
I think that the original, like, I think that as things age, I think you're gonna of course like look back on some aspects of these things and say,
well, look at 70s movies. They were just right full of stuff that shouldn't have been in there. So.
Original series is perfection.
I think there have been no banned Star Trek episodes that I can remember. Well, the only one I really know of is there's an episode of Next Gen where Data references something like like Ireland becoming like a united country again.
Oh yeah, that was the one with all the people that they had in the cargo bay, right?
Right, and Ireland was like reunited, like Northern Ireland, and like it was
they
banned
changed
in England.
They
or something
changed it, it was banned somewhere in the UK, and then I think they changed it in the TV release and got rid of that.
Was that the one where they had like all the livestock on the?
Yes,
I think so.
Yeah.
And Riker went and slept with somebody. Of course,
With that,
he went all full Kirk on that episode.
Yeah, he was looking to increase the gene pool. He was helping them out. So
the sheep kept running away.
And the guys were they set up a still. That was hilarious. That episode was funny.
Even though they had replicators.
But it was a good episode.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that one. Anyway, so what's going on at this point in the episode, Jody?
Well, stuff.
things are happening.
But so we're getting more and more crew are being taken over.
Yeah, the crew are starting to take over, and they're starting to the crew that hasn't been taken over is starting to clue in that they're being
right, because it was that Rostef guy who got taken over. He's like, "Hey, can you fix the engine?" He's like, "I don't know how to do that."
Yeah,
and then he asks this guy to do something. He's like, "Yeah, I'm doing it." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Because he thought maybe he was too, but he wasn't.
Yeah, he doesn't know who's possessed. And then
I originally thought Hoshi was actually possessed this early, just how she was acting.
She was almost acts like it, but she's not at this point.
But she wasn't. She was just kind of like frazzled, and then later on she was taken over.
Yeah. And they're like, we need to find a way of detecting who's been possessed or who's not been, and then they figure it out pretty quickly. I
got a better idea. How about you figure out how to stop it? Like finding them is one thing. It's pretty easy to figure out which ones are the wrong ones.
Well, you just have to talk to them for a second.
Quarantine first, then a vaccine. We all know this.
Yeah,
true.
Trip calls up to Mayweather to go. He's like, go to the catwalk, man, and do something. I know you're not doing anything important up there, like flying the ship. So he sends Mayweather down, and meanwhile, T'Pol and Phlox are scanning people. They figure out there's two people in the mess hall. It should be whoever has the big plate of food in front of them is probably the alien, but maybe not. Anyway, so she sends these two guys are busy in this episode. They're just like, we're arrested people, putting them in their quarters.
Sam, just so you know, that episode is actually called Up the Long Ladder.
Oh, how fitting as we're going up the ladder here.
Yes, which I think I can't remember what. Season 2, episode 18. There you go.
Yeah, and he's running away from this thing, and then he gets up to the catwalk, but it can't go through this door for some reason.
I just learned something. I love Mayweather. Oh, it looks like he can't get in.
Yeah. Ooh.
I thought what was more interesting is the fact that they are setting up a bridge here, and they already technically have it already set up because they used the same thing for the catwalk episode.
Yeah, which is not that long ago, and Mayweather would not have been able to escape here if the engines were online, because this thing would be filled with plasma.
Well, he'd be dead.
Yeah, he'd be dead. But so this was good timing. And they're like,
that's the precursor to the battle bridge, right? Like that's I guess where they got the idea for the battle bridge later on.
I don't think so.
No, I would think so. Something like this.
Like an auxiliary bridge.
An auxiliary bridge, yeah. Well, battle bridge in Next Gen, but
yeah, like a temporary command center. But anyway, this is the possessed Hoshi here, where he's talking to her, and she's like, "You just."
I thought he was gonna deck her.
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh, this would have been cool."
He was not happy. He's like, "How could you do this to Hoshi?"
Hoshi of all the people.
One thing with Reed, but you.
Yeah, you take over Reed, no problem. You take over Hoshi. Not a problem.
Reed just pees his pants and commits suicide all the time.
You want to go pin Reed to the hall with a
with a
You
mine?
you
Go
that,
for it.
but don't take
I
Hoshi.
been down there. But anyway, she's good at playing the evil possessed person. I think maybe better than most. And then they're back in the catwalk, Jody. They're this is they've been here before. They decided to put everybody in the starboard nacelle, the port nacelle, not using it.
Well, this is where the other thing was, so it would only make sense. They already have the hookups there.
I guess so. They're setting up there, and this is where I think DePaul is still trying to get Archer to be open-minded about stuff. And
yeah, which I didn't really remember much of this episode, so I'm sitting there thinking, like, is she already taken over and we don't know it yet? So I think that was kind of a little bit of a red herring how they were kind of doing that. But
well, I agreed with everything she was saying mostly, but it seemed like.
But it was off for her, right? Like it felt like it was off for her.
It was off that she seems so wrong about something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Raiders like to do that. And then this is kind of, I think, when we really know things are going off the rails is after this scene, because the Phlox gets the call from possessed Hoshi, and he was just like, oh,
Oh man.
So he brings the gun with him, and he's like, listen up, I'm armed and I'm coming in. And don't mess with me, and she claims she broke her leg, right?
Yeah, and he scans her, and then he's like, "There's nothing wrong with you," and then she like starts beating the hell out of him.
Yeah, which is hard to get screenshots there because it was just like this epic struggle.
Well, you only ended up ever seeing Linda Park here because I would assume that they were using doubles for. She was kicking the guy in the
that was like the best where she was like doing like this furious kick at him from the ground, and then she gets the gun and he just injects her.
Yeah, he just hypo sprays her, and then he's like, I'm glad I brought that along.
I wrote that.
Yeah, he's just like
Phlox. He's awesome.
Yeah, and then
I would totally watch like a show with just Phlox as the main character.
They really should give him more solo episodes, but he's used very sparingly. Anyway, so this is where they call Phlox, and they kind of talk about Archer and T'Pol's plan for her to become possessed, and then to figure out if she can find out what they're really up to. That's the plan. So they kind of loop in Phlox on the plan here as she goes down the catwalk or down this long ladder, and then she gets possessed here.
I love though that she takes the opportunity to tell Archer, "Listen, I'm a Vulcan, and my mind is stronger than yours."
Yeah.
just to annoy him.
Yeah, just annoy him. Yeah, which I think is credible here. Like more mental. That's a big part of what the Vulcans do is training in their minds.
Mental discipline. Yeah.
Mental discipline. We see that when young Spock goes to school in the Star Trek 2009, and they have to do like crazy amount of classroom stuff, right? Anyway, so yeah, she's not moving at first. There's like there was this battle inside, and I thought like they could have had more of that, or like shown us something else.
I kind of liked how they did this though.
Yeah, just like her standing still.
Yeah, it was just you're kind of like, what's going on kind of thing.
That's kind of what all of them did. Like it's consistent. That's what all of them did at first.
Yeah, at the beginning, and then they start, start, acting out what I guess the parasite or whatever you want to call it wants them to do, where she's fighting it, right? So
she fights it off, and she's able to expel it. But what's weird is that like her gold thing doesn't come back in. Or never left in the first place.
Never left. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So that was, I guess, one of the difference with her. Right. So, and then she's like, they're lying to us. They're lying.
And Fox is like, no shit.
Yeah. And so explaining that their ship is breaking down, that they have to get their people out of it and then put them into these bodies of the Enterprise crew, and that they're going to have to find more ships and do this to more people because there's more.
Because they can only move 86 of them with Enterprise.
Right, and there's hundreds of them or something.
Yeah, they said there was a couple hundred of them or something.
Yeah. So it's now it's a battle for their very survival.
Mayweather didn't annoy me in this episode, which was
he didn't annoy me either because we had tons of Reed annoying everybody.
Yeah.
But I almost like that how Reed did it. because he really was foreign to the environment, right? So
They send Mayweather. They're like, go find Trip, man, and he's like looking around. Whoever these guys were.
Seen Trip?
You seen Trip? You seen
No.
Trip, man? No, man.
No,
Oh, he's-
no. And they
How
call
about
them sir.
nobody-
These are like crew members who just go to him. Are we going to get out of this? What do you think?
Yeah.
Like they're going to Mayweather for answers.
tell me, Daddy. Tell me.
They're like, Hanson.
You know you're in a tough spot when you're going.
Yeah,
to
when you're going to
Mayweather.
Mayweather, and Mayweather is the voice of reason.
But
right
He's your
now.
salvation.
I love that nobody seems all that concerned in this emergency that Trip has just gone missing. Like
Yeah,
Yeah, everybody's
not
like,
really.
eh.
He's
goes
around. He's
missing all
somewhere
the
in this
time.
catwalk.
Archer's
You know?
just like, well, you must have missed him. Just look again.
Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
See, he's like, I can't
Sure.
find him anywhere,
He
man.
was possessed by an outside entity a while ago.
And
but
they
I'm
like,
sure
did
that
anyone?
isn't an issue?
How did he? He must have been possessed right before they came in here, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That
So-
he must have, yeah.
yeah,
because
'cause
you
they're like,
see him
no-
in the background every so often.
And T'Pol says nobody came in or left. And they also have Phlox on this mission to like help gas the people who are not in the catwalk so that they can like get them to basically fall unconscious or, they got exposed to space and then they'll go out here. So he's got to go to the,
most RC manifold.
yeah. What's interesting is that he doesn't like activate the environmental suit until he absolutely has to.
No.
He just
What
has
I
it over.
find interesting, if you go back, is he counts every door.
Yeah.
There are numbers on them. You don't need to count each one. Just
True.
go to number 7. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Not his native language, but yeah, it's true.
No, maybe he can't read numbers.
I'm sure he can.
I'm sure he can.
He's pretty smart.
I
I-
like that shot there.
The whole possessed Tucker
Yeah.
thing was cool, although I think they could have even taken it further. But it was good. Yeah, and they're trying to walk Phlox through this procedure, this engineering procedure, basically, to redo things. There's the lights and
I like how they have like old school toggles and stuff on them still. I love that.
yeah, man. Like it's yeah, he's like, I know what
I
they're
like the
doing.
fact that they had his face covered for this scene. Like from a cinematic viewpoint, this is a cool shot
It was cool.
because it's supposed to represent
Yeah,
obviously he's
he's
not him,
almost-
right?
Almost a zombie at this
Yeah.
point. And
Right.
it's very ominous.
Yeah, almost Terminator-esque. And then finally Mayweather
Yeah,
catches up.
Terminator.
Suddenly trips all the way over here. And he's like, hey, what's up, man? I've been looking for you. And he's like, everything okay? He's like, oh, yep. And he's like running away.
It's
And
good.
He starts running
Don't
down
mind
here.
me.
Get the hell out of my way. And, he just
It's like
bolts
now I
him,
gotta run.
just knocks Mayweather right on his back and just punches him in the face and hops
I
down.
also
this-
approve of this.
Yeah, just gets out. really
Anytime
quickly.
you punch Mayweather in the face, I'm good with it.
Yeah, and then they're like, they send Phlox to this other section, and they're like, just give it some elbow grease, man. Just
Yeah,
pull it.
Maybe use your foot for leverage.
This is stupid.
That is just dumb. Yeah, this
Yeah,
whole
it goes on for a while too, and then he
This
like
was just the
lands
whole,
on him.
let's make Flux fall over thing.
Yeah, again, like, Mayweather tells like Trips.
I'm sorry, Captain. I screwed up.
I couldn't do the one thing you asked me to do.
Yeah, you remember
I
that
found
one thing
him.
you wanted me to do? Yeah, I fucked that up pretty hard.
No. I found him. Oh, where is he? I have no idea.
No
I
idea.
was to escape. And like I could have called out to the other crew around me, said like, "Hey, stop him!"
I'll go back to the helm.
Yeah, I think even Archer is like, "What?"
Archer's like, seriously?
You had like the entire crew to help you.
You're
You
a pretty
know?
athletic guy. You could have just chased him.
Anyway, so
Like
they're
this is a guy that climbs he climbs mountains in his off time.
Yeah, but he also falls off them and gets hurt every time.
Well, he breaks them all the time. Yeah.
yeah. And they warn Phlox that Trip's on the loose here.
Trippy tripping, yo.
Yeah, there's like they're going through like the final procedures where you gotta like turn knobs and whatever here and open things. It's all very technical.
This went on a little
It's all
long.
very- Now, did this lever thing look familiar to you in some way? Like when I
yeah.
first saw it, I'm like, this has been used before, but I don't know what it was for. It just looks
It
so
does-
familiar.
It looks like a standard,
Yeah,
water
it's just
lever. or
on
something.
every water line I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty
okay,
much.
maybe.
Yeah, I think it's just like it's a pretty common looking thing. Anyway, this is where he finally puts on his environmental helmet here, and as he's going, turning things. Well, Trip shows up and just throws him to the ground and starts doing stuff. Does Trip know how to do this? Like, does possessed Trip and even know how to undo what he's doing?
That's a good point.
He seems
Because
to
the other
try.
guy didn't know how to do the routine maintenance
Yeah, he's
thing
like,
that they wanted him to do.
help fix his engine. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Probably
I've never
not.
How
eaten
does
bread
this guy
before.
know how to do this? Yeah, that's a good point.
But he's trying his best, and then the smoke starts coming off here. But he doesn't have a suit like Phlox, and so Phlox starts to kind of win
This scene
fight.
was a little long. Like, didn't you find?
Yeah, and then it like the ending's very abrupt.
Yeah.
Where
No end.
Always.
they scan. Okay, Trip's okay, and then they're starting. Oh, I did just read.
I love this part.
Read like with the
Or Reed
CO2
choking or something. Yeah.
Yeah, this was some acting here.
They're like, Reed, we want you to die. Basically, like, just do that.
He's like, can do, sir.
No problem. You
Yeah.
got it, director man.
See their consciousness approaching, and they're starting to get out of here. They turn off the gas, and then getting away. Okay, let's fire some torpedoes, guys.
Okay, wait a minute. We got to stop here for a second. This again, I was very disappointed at this scene. It was like no attempt to find them another way to live.
Nope.
Nothing.
That's
No.
not Archer's job.
Just fire the torpedoes.
Diplomacy
Oh.
is something that happens later. in
Commander,
Star Trek.
I said
It's-
launch torpedoes.
It seems so on Star Trek. Like,
Yeah, they're just like, oh yeah,
But everything
boom.
about this series is not really traditional.
oh, I
Star
know.
Trek. That's the
I
point.
was. My heart broke.
I was okay with this.
It was just over. And
I
it's
think
over.
Archer should blow up more shit.
Like those torpedoes made a boom. Holy jeez! Like normally they're shown to be like
Well,
not
the
that
ship
effective.
is already broken.
Yeah, I guess it was already damaged, but,
But
yeah.
even to Paul didn't even say, just hang on a second. Maybe we shouldn't kill them. Nothing. It was
Nope.
over.
Well, no. T'Pol's like, I was deceived.
Yeah, and
Kill
then like
these bastards.
Phlox just picks up Trip off the floor, and that's it. That's the end. He's like, help
Yeah,
me
he's
unlock
like,
some doors.
We have a lot more doors to open or some shit
Yeah,
like
a
that.
lot more doors to
And then
unlock or
the
something.
episode is over.
Then
It's over.
ending.
Yeah, and like for every scene that we said was too long or whatever, you feel like you could shorten those scenes and then make like more of an ending or
That
more
is
of a
literally 90% of these
Like,
episodes.
like 25 seconds of an ending would have been fine. Plenty.
yeah.
I miss the days of Kirk sitting on the bridge and the big laughter going on around.
Yes.
Yeah, that-
Right, 'cause there was always kind of
Remember
a quiet moment at the end of original series, and they usually make a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
He's like, Hoshi, get me a coffee. Like that kind of thing.
Sit in your chair, Captain. What do you
Yeah.
mean? This chair?
how about some fun facts, Adam?
Sure.
Fun facts with Adam. Da, 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 da.
So there's some continuity issues, guys.
No kidding.
Several inconsistencies with whether or not aliens gain knowledge of their hosts. They seem to be aware of many things they would like to have. No way of knowing. They have no way of knowing without acquiring the host knowledge. Example: Reed thinks that Paul is the most attractive female, but not others.
Bum.
Exactly. In describing the use of the valve to Dr. Phlox, both Captain Archer and Sub-Commander T'Pol refer to analog clock positions. It is not likely in the 22nd century that members of 3 different planetary cultures would share a common reference to
I didn't even pick up on that, but that's so true.
an absolute Terran technology.
I wonder if like that's somehow how the universal translator adjusts for that.
No way.
Well, they made a good point here. They would far more likely to refer to some shared angular measure, such as degrees.
yeah.
Right. Like, so if something was directly in front of you, it wouldn't be 12 o'clock. It would be what, like 90 degrees?
Yeah,
Or,
it's
well,
more likely to be mathematics than clocks.
yeah.
Than
Right.
time.
Archer is a bit hasty to determine that the only way to defeat the entities is to summarily exterminate them.
Seems reasonable to me.
Even if the Prime Directive hasn't been formulated yet, it seems odds with Starfleet's long-standing policy to live and let live without, when it comes to seeking out new life. I agree with that. That's where I lost the episode. I was already lost, but when I got here, I was
I'm okay with him killing everybody.
yeah, sure. Makes it more interesting. When the non-corporeal entities first capture the Enterprise, it disables their warp engines, impulse engines, and weapon systems. A sort of goodwill gesture. The entities release Enterprise and allow the crew to repair its engines and weapons and systems. That's weird too. That's a hole.
Yeah.
At a certain point, the entities know that Captain Archer is planning to escape. So why didn't the entities simply recapture the Enterprise in the same way it captured it in the first place?
Yeah.
By disabling its engines and weapons and bringing it back into their ship. It makes absolutely
Because
no
we
sense.
only have 44 minutes.
It makes no sense that they allow the Enterprise to destroy their ship in the way they do. It's also not explained how Trip got possessed when he was supposed to be shielded from the aliens on the catwalk.
Right. Like they could have shown him being possessed, like even ever so briefly, or again, but they don't. But the good thing, the thing about like, why don't they just recapture the Enterprise if they clearly had the ability in the first place?
Yeah.
Right. Well, as Jody said, we have 44 minutes. The fact that the secondary bridge was left in the catwalk after the Star Trek Enterprise, the catwalk, may demonstrate the original Starfleet concept of the battle bridge. There you go.
Jody, here you go.
There you
Jody's.
go.
This episode was nominated for an Emmy Award for Outstanding Visual Effects.
That I did know.
Yep. The wall-mounted, you called this out too, the wall-mounted circular device that Malcolm uses just before being chased by a wisp has 4 protrusions along the outer edge. These are the same design as Uhura's earpiece in the original series.
Yeah,
Nice.
but
I call it
but they don't tell you what it is.
No.
No idea what it was.
This is the
wisp
third and final appearance of crewman Michael Rostoff, who appeared twice in their first season, though never again seen on screen after this episode. He's mentioned at least twice in the third season.
Maybe
Really?
he died.
Trip experienced himself transported to Tarpon Springs, Florida, a suburban beach and fishing community west of Tampa and north of Clearwater. Tarpon Springs is notable for its sponge fishing and claims to be home to the second largest Greek population next to Greece itself.
Oh, so this is a real place.
I thought that was Toronto. Yeah, I had lunch there a little while ago, back in March. Okay.
Greeks in Florida, huh? Okay.
Yeah. The alien ship adjusts to 18 degrees, which Trip refers as to Florida in November. 18 degrees is about 64.5 Fahrenheit. This is consistent with the climate in parts of Florida in November, just in case you're interested in weather there.
Yeah, well, as Canadians, we're a little bit more familiar with 18 degrees Celsius.
That's right. I thought that was kind of like, mild or cool for Florida, but hey. Porthos does not appear in this episode.
Maybe he's possessed.
And this episode, I'll wrap it up here, marks the first chronological appearance of a non-corporeal life form.
Yeah, I like how he's like non-corporeal. That's a new one. Not really. Sam has a fun fact too, Adam.
Let's hear it, Sam.
There was supposed to be a season 5 of Enterprise. He says.
We know.
We knew that.
And Assignment Earth is a fantastic episode. That's more of an opinion, really. But
I agree.
Gary 7.
Gary 7. All right. Well, thank you for the fun facts, Adam. Let's get into our episode ratings and figure out what this episode is sort of worth in terms of everything else. Jody, you want to start us off?
Can't say I was in love with the episode. I'm gonna do a 6.5. It was okay.
Half for Jody. All right, Adam.
5.
Wow.
Wow. I think that might be the lowest rated he's done in this season.
Despite the logic issues, I thought this was a good episode.
No, you know what? For all of the non-corporeal life forms we've ever had, I think this is the weakest attempt at one out of all the series.
I'm going 8.
Really?
Wow.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
I am going 8.5. Would have been a 9 with an ending.
Yeah.
Wow.
I enjoy it. Even with all the plot holes and everything, the crew seems like a crew, and the show is getting better.
Yeah.
Hey, check out our average ratings for season 2. 69s all across the board.
Except for Davin, but he's not on every episode. But
yeah.
But overall, we're not liking season 2 as much. It seems to be the trend.
I think we were a little bit more generous on season 1 than we probably should have been. Looking
Maybe.
back.
It's possible.
The answer to this is I would watch this 800 times more than watching
Than Assignment Earth?
again.
Yeah. In terms of the IMDb, it's rated about the same as Canamar at a 6.9. And it's, again, Braga and Berman with Andre Bermanis helping to write this episode. Who would you say this episode is? Is this an ensemble episode? Is this what it is?
Yeah, it's
It pretty much
ensemble
is, yeah.
with too much freaking Malcolm.
Too much ensemble with too much Malcolm, I think was but we need to put in brackets.
Got milk guy. That's good.
All right, Jody, what's the episode after this? What's episode 19?
It is, hold on here. It is Judgment. This is a Klingon episode, actually.
I think I know this episode. Is this where they go to Rapente?
I don't think so.
Is this J.G. Hertzler?
I don't know.
Oh, if it is, it's a 10.
This is Archer
It
is
is.
charged by the Klingon tribunal for helping rebels try to escape the Empire because apparently that's all Archer ever does is help people escape places.
he's the jailbreaker.
So in this episode, he's quick to basically annihilate a whole race.
Yes.
And
Yeah. But okay, so in the next
It's a bit of a
episode,
Debbie Downer episode, really, but it's good.
the next episode has J.G. Hertzler playing like a Klingon lawyer, like not Martok, a different Klingon, but
Yeah.
it's
I didn't know it was him. Okay.
Yeah. Shares a birthday with me, J.G. Hertzler. And Kevin loves that fun fact.
Kevin's like, that was amazing. dude."
That was a fun fact, he said. And so fellow Pisces too, of course. Anyway, so I've seen that episode a few times because it came in like a set I had of like different Star Trek episodes on DVD. And this was the Enterprise episode they threw in. I think it was the captain's like favorite picks, like their own person, like I think for whatever reason, this was Scott Bakula's favorite episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the what was it called? The Captain Summit or whatever?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Mm-hmm.
It was neat.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, no, I always find, and just like you get to see like more like Star Trek 6 level like Klingon courtroom kind of stuff, and it's fun, So
I like this episode a lot. Yeah.
All right, it's a 10.
yeah, we still have to watch it next week, and we're gonna talk about it. But
Hey, if it's anything like Star Trek 6, it's a 10.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Best
So
movie.
check it out next week when we'll be here for Judgment in Star Trek Enterprise podcast. Also,
Speaking
check
of
out
Judgment.
Mhm.
Oh, that was my segue.
I was waiting for you to say. Speaking of Judgment,
Star
Star Trek
Judges other things.
Deep Space Nine at 9 is our ongoing podcast where we look at every episode of that show and rate it. We're up to season 6, episode 2. I think we'll be back next Tuesday. Jeff is getting back. Huh?
Probably.
Well, so here's the thing. Jeff got booked. Jeff's getting home the night before. It's Thanksgiving Monday. He gets like in late, and then the other thing is I got booked on The Boys, so I'm going to be in like some as an extra or something. So
Cool.
I may not be able to make it. And can Jeff fly the ship without me? Is my question.
Not without a computer.
No. So unless Davin can step in and host it or something.
Why doesn't he have a computer?
Because he's been renovating his house for 6 years now, and
What, you can't put it in another room?
not according to Amanda.
Oh.
So it's
We'll just leave that one where it is then.
yeah, exactly. But eventually, Deep Space Nine at 9 will return. Maybe next week, maybe the week
At
after.
some point, we will continue.
Yes, the war must continue over there in season 6. So check that out.
He wants to know what The Boys is.
Boys is a great show. It's a great show on Prime, Amazon Prime.
Carl Urban.
Carl Urban, and
Our very own Dr. McCoy.
It's got Boimler himself. It's got what's this guy? What's the guy's name? Jack Quaid, right? So Dennis Quaid's son, who does Boimler's voice. He's also one of the stars of The Boys, along with many other great performers. So check that out.
Sam wants to know if we're gonna do TNG or Voyager next.
Like in the distant future,
Probably TNG. I'm guessing.
TNG is like going to be the epic.
No one's excited to do Voyager.
No, Voyager.
Mind you, nobody was
Voyager,
really excited to do Enterprise.
Voyager is the one we do when we got nothing left. But we'll get to it.
Yeah, but that first season of TNG is going to be terrible.
I got through the first season of Deep Space Nine.
Right.
I can get through anything. Like it's.
I think the DS9 first season was better than TNG's first season.
Where's the second season?
Even the uniforms.
Alan Moraine. There was some fun.
Okay,
things
maybe
about it.
not. That one was terrible.
I think it's even gonna be fun to look back at some of those next gen episodes. But I digress.
Code
And
of
then
Honor.
Star Trek Lower Decks is in full effect right now. Season 3. We're going to be on this Thursday to talk about the newest episode. I don't even think we have a title, but it'll be episode 7 of season 3. It's been a good season so far of Lower Decks.
I've watched the first 5 episodes of season 3, and I have to say I'm not impressed so far.
Really?
Not impressed. There you go.
Nope.
All right. Well, we'll probably have like
I
a
think
deep
it's
dive at
weak
the end of the
sauce compared
season,
to the last season.
like we do every season, where we get together and we kind of get everybody who hasn't
I
done the
might
week to
join you
week
for that.
and get some thoughts over there. So check out that Star Trek Radio Theater, of course, and all of our great locutors of Trek productions, including there just was a debate 9 with Jody and Adam. They had a battle hosted by Davin. I came in for the
I don't know
tiebreaker
if
question.
it was a battle.
I think I really liked the Class L probes a little more than the debate 9, but it was fun.
Class L Pro more like theoretical,
Discussion.
less of a battle, less
Yeah.
of a
I
war.
don't think I've been on any of the Class All ones.
They're great. We just talk about
I haven't been
like,
on one yet.
in law, like an interesting topic that we did in debate 9 and get
See,
into it.
I would like that.
Yeah, it's
There
like
you
sitting
go.
around a bar talking about a Star Trek episode. It's fun.
Yeah, so we got all kinds of great things with Davin on the locutors of Trek on-screen and off-screen versions. Jody canceled me.
I didn't cancel you,
No, not canceled. What else, guys?
but I'm
you
not
guys-
putting up with your crap anymore.
Did you know about?
Little
did you know
buddy.
about our network, our greater network here?
What network, Dave?
Called the United Federation of Podcasts.
Oh, you just had that one ready to go, didn't you?
I just had it ready to go. We got many different shows, including
I can't
Trivial.
get a sound sample on time, but I can
Oh wait,
get
this is
that.
the wrong one. I need the new one, guys. Hold on. We have Trivial Debates coming up on October 30th. Jody, you're hosting. Did you know? I think you did know.
I do now.
I'm just buying myself time while I upload this.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm uploading because Jaemeel bowed out because he wants to save himself for the music episode. So he's bowed out of this, and so we have Chris Murphy coming in instead for this. We can call this the Battle of the Nova Scotians here with Andre, Chris Murphy, and Davin Skellhorn all going at it, all Nova Scotian raised, and not Jody though, but a spooky Halloween themed episode. Jody, you got some questions in mind?
No,
Good. Okay, well you got some time.
but I will have some.
Yes, good. Plus, we got our Super Mater Brothers podcasting channel, which is ongoing right now. Ongoing coverage of Survivor. Check that out on Wednesday. I'll be with Jaemeel Robinson talking about episode 3, and we'll see if Sam's guy gets voted off or not, and whether Gilligan's Island podcast has to happen. Plus, check out our other great podcasts under the UFP, including the Graphics History podcast with Andre, who's going to be on the next episode of Trivial Debates. There's the X-Men, the animated series X-Rated podcast with David Skellhorn and Andre every Tuesday, where they go through a different episode. And then, of course, Let's Talk About Fighting Games with Eamon Mater, also known as Sam Jerka, as well as the Hellbound podcast with Michael Chan and Alex Blackburn on Wednesdays.
Spooky.
So lots of great things. Sam is going for Davin in this next Trivial Debates.
They're all contenders.
Alyssa
Until they
Big
piss
Brother
me
second
off.
chances. No. Alyssa may be on the challenge. I could see her on the challenge. Apparently Alyssa Sam went into like social media exile like after the show, after the season ended. Like she's like apparently gone dark. What's that about?
Who cares?
Anyway, am
I
I
can tell
forgetting
you at least 3 people that don't give a shit.
Who's Alyssa? Do we know her?
You could have if you'd watched the show. But yeah, no, we're all done.
One of you has to make it on it for me to watch.
That's right. If
Yeah.
Sam made it on it, if you made it on it, I would totally
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I do that. Okay.
Wow. Wow.
And I thought I was the curmudgeon.
I gotta,
He's like, no, it's still terrible. I'm not going to watch it. Let me know how it ends.
what show is Dave on, and I'll watch it. But that's it.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks for everyone for being with us. Live long and podcast, and we'll see you next time here on Enterprise at 8. Thanks to the whole panel, and we'll see you in another realm. Okay. Good night.
He's exploring another realm. My realm. But he'll be back.